Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Lynne Life. Today I am going to I want to do a video on a subject that I've never talked about on this channel before. And as you know, Lynne has an anoxic brain injury, and the problem that we have, and it's every day, some days it's much worse than others, but it's always present, is at the end of the day, Lynne has a difficult time shutting her brain off and relaxing and falling asleep. It's every day, but some days it gets really bad and she doesn't sleep at all. She doesn't sleep all night, which really affects me because I would like to fall asleep. I'm ready to fall asleep and then I can't. So I want to talk about that today. So let's get going.
My name is Jonathan, and I'm a caregiver for my wife Lynne, who has a permanent brain injury. Things are a bit different now, but we're doing the best that we can. Join us as we experience the Lynne Life.
Now, I belong to a Facebook group called Anoxic Brain Injury Caregivers, which is exactly what I am. And it's a very good group, very active group. There's a lot of people in it. And I'm kind of talking to them. You know, I could have just put a post up on that site, but I figured let's make a video, and I'll put a link on there. And maybe I can get some feedback from those people. And of course there's lots of you guys out there too that maybe aren't caring for somebody who has a brain injury, but you're interested in Lynne and what's going on, and this might be something that you find interesting. But anoxic brain injury is a brain injury where the brain has been cut off and deprived of oxygen, and from multiple different reasons. In Lynne's case, it was because of cardiac arrest. And the survivors of this type of a thing, people who end up with an anoxic brain injury, you have various degrees of injury. And Lynne is actually one of the lucky ones, I think, because she is still full of personality. She still remembers the past. She communicates with me. She's still mobile, although her mobility is affected by it. But she does good, and she's very happy. There are certain things that are affected by the brain injury, like Lynne hasn't cried in years. She doesn't cry, and she can get upset, but she will not cry, and nor will she laugh out loud. That's just something that doesn't happen. She will snicker, she will smile, she'll find things that are funny, she'll giggle a little bit, but there's never like a belly laugh, like hysterical laughter, doesn't exist. So the extremes on either end, crying or hysterical laughter, no longer exist in Lynne. So that's just a reality we deal with. But then there's another thing, and that's sleep really is the biggest thing. She requires a tremendous amount of sleep. She is sleeping right now. It's, what time is it? 9:21 in the morning. Shooting this on Thursday. And she is sleeping. She's up. She got up. She had her breakfast. She's on the couch, and she lays on the couch, and she falls back to sleep. Soon she will get up and go take her shower. So she'll be woken up to take her shower and get all cleaned up, brush her teeth, get dressed, all that stuff. And then she'll go back to the couch, and she'll go back and take a nap again. And this is after sleeping all last night. And then she'll, after lunch, she'll get up for lunch, And after lunch, she starts to wake up. Then she's sitting in a chair. She may watch some television, do whatever. It's in when she's riding her horse. That's always in an afternoon. Uh, a lot of the activities, a lot of things that we do with Lynn are in the afternoon. She may play cards. She'll go out on the patio if it's a nice day. She'll do things like that. So she's awake all afternoon. But the problem that we run into every day is after dinner, and when it's time for her to start winding down and get ready for to sleep at night, she can't. It's a struggle every day, and some days much worse than others. Most days we can control it because I've been I have some procedures that I use, which I'll discuss in a little while. And but Lynn, one of the things that helps is a schedule. Lynn needs a regular schedule, like she's doing now. She's napping. She had her breakfast and then she naps. That's all part of her schedule. But sometimes that schedule gets disrupted. Sometimes we have a doctor's appointment in the morning, or sometimes we're going someplace or that requires travel or something like that. So it gets a little bit disrupted. We try to keep from disturbing it too much. If we're traveling, she can sleep in the car, if it's in the morning. But we try to keep her on a schedule as much as possible, but sometimes it gets disrupted. And when she's had a day with a lot of stimulation, meeting people, having a good time, enjoying herself, at the end of the day, she can't shut it off. It's like that throttle is stuck. And she can't wind down, and she wants to. She'll lay down on the couch and go, "How come I can't fall asleep?" And she'll keep repeating that over and over and over. "Can you help me fall asleep?" And it goes on and on and on and on. And sometimes when she gets in that kind of a rut and she keeps repeating herself over and over and over, I discovered that one thing that helps to sort of break that cycle, at least a little bit or temporarily anyways, is music. I'll put on a pair of wireless headphones and put on some music she likes. But if it's later in, getting towards the evening, I don't want to play anything that's too stimulating because it just adds to it. If it's right after dinner, say 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, something like that, maybe I can play something else that she really enjoys. And sometimes she really gets into it, She does really enjoy listening to music. Music definitely is a form of therapy. And she likes that. So that's one thing we try. Lynn takes medication 4 times a day. She takes it 8 in the morning. She takes it at noon and 5 o'clock and 8 p.m., 8 o'clock at night. That's her last time she takes her pills. And the 8 o'clock dose does have some stuff in it that will mellow her out and tire her, but it's not always enough. It would be enough for me. It would knock me out for days, but not for her. So, there are other things that I've been experimenting with to help her mellow out. Melatonin is a big one, and I give it to her earlier. I give it to her like after maybe 6:30, something like that in the evening. I give her that. Also with her 8 o'clock pills, I've been giving her a over-the-counter sleep aid which is non-addictive. It's what is it? Basically, it's Dramamine, really, which is used for motion sickness. So, but it makes you tired. There's Benadryl. We've tried that. That can make you tired too. It's used for allergies and things like that. But another thing I've been experimenting, this is still a work in progress, is I've been experimenting with edibles for her. Those that you may know is, marijuana is legal in New York State. So that was suggested to us by certain people, and we were actually given some gummies, edible gummies, and we tried that. That didn't really do too much. But so I've been experimenting a little bit more with cannabis and things like that, and nothing that she's ever. I don't want her smoking anything, so it's got to be edibles. So I've been experimenting with infused oil, and I give that to her under her tongue. I have a sort of a measure. It's on an eyedropper. It's a measured dose, and I give her. She doesn't like the taste of it, so that's when I started giving her the melatonin gummies right after that, and she likes the taste of those. So that is something that I do about 6:30, and sometimes it works. I mean, it's tough for me to determine how well it's working, unless and just not giving it to her, and if she does fall asleep, was because she was just having a better day, or is it because I did or didn't give her some of this other, the edibles or the melatonin? I don't know. It's tough to see, but most days she's pretty good. Like, for example, last night, things were a little bit disrupted because I had a Masonic meeting and I had to go. So the aide was home with her, and I gave her melatonin and the oil, and she's aware of what she's taking too. She kind of breaks on me about that, but she did seem to mellow out, and she was fine. And then when I came home, though, she woke up because I came home. She hadn't seen me, and it still took a while. She didn't really get to sleep till probably 11:30, maybe midnight. So it was a little later night because I was away and came home about 9 o'clock, and then she wanted to be awake to talk to me. So again, the schedule. So, but I've decided to talk about this today, and I want to put this link on that Facebook site, and I'm looking for feedback. Looking for feedback from any of you that maybe are experiencing something like this, and what do you do? Sleeping pills from her doctor. I talked to her doctor about this, all of this. He knows all about it. And, things like a sleeping pill like Ambien, stuff like that, that's out of the question because that's addictive. And I don't want her taking something like that. So we do use like the over-the-counter sleep aid, which is just Dramamine. And that seems to help. That's part of it. So it's a faceted thing. We use a lot of different stuff and try to keep a schedule and give her all this to try to control it to some degree. But there are still days where, despite all of that, it doesn't work. She doesn't sleep well. But most days she does. So I'd like to say that what I'm doing now to help her is working, So So this is a subject I don't talk about on the channel. We're always usually very, very positive, and I like, you see what I'm doing as a caregiver every day, and I try to normalize our life, the Lynne life, and but it's not normal. But I try to normalize it to show caregivers that you can still have a life after going through what Lynne has gone through, and that Lynne can still have a life after what she's gone through. But it doesn't mean there aren't struggles, because there are. So I think that's all I had to say, but I'm really hoping to get some comments. I'm hoping that some of you can interact and talk to me about what you're going through and maybe what you've found that works. My throat's getting dry. I've been doing a lot of talking here. Good. Like my coffee in the morning. So let me know. And I think that's about it. We'll see you next time on the Lynne.